So today I'm going to be talking about some recent gaming news that interested me. I'm just enjoying my new YouTube hobby and I just want to talk about things that I like. So I'm hoping that you get something from this video too. Today I'm going to be talking about Xbox's new handheld. Also, is the Switch 2 dock the new red ring of death? And also, don't buy Mindseye. You probably already heard about that, but don't buy Mindseye. All of this and more in today's video. Let's go. So let's get into it. Let's start with an underappreciated PS4 exclusive, the Order 1886. I don't know whether that's going to be controversial for me to say, but I felt like it was hard done by. This week we learned that the Order 1886 was actually planned as the start of a trilogy. We found this out because of a quote from Did You Know Gaming. The quote said, "The Order 1886 was intended to be the first part of a trilogy, with sequels titled The Order 1890 and The Order 1899, planned by Ready at Dawn," and that source is from Did You Know Gaming. These two games were in early development before they both got scrapped. Now, as you probably know, when this game came out, the game actually got a lot of stick for being pretty short. And sure, it was a short game, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and actually say short games are pretty good, to be fair. In fact, I like shorter, tighter experiences. They're better paced, less bloated, and they waste less of our time. Now in 2025, games tend to be collectathons and they have tons of filler content. I'd rather just get to the meat of it. You know, we only have so much limited time in the world. Maybe when I was younger, I had more time for that, but now, I'd rather just get to it. So don't get me wrong, the game itself wasn't perfect. It was more of a tech demo for the PS4 rather than a fleshed out game. But the world building and the aesthetic and the character designs, I really felt like they would have found their footing. But anyway, what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments. Would you have played a second and a third game from the Order universe? I think I would. So the next story is a bit of a sad one because lots of people lost their jobs, but the Black Panther game got cancelled. So yeah, there was a Black Panther game getting developed by Cliffhanger Games, and it was reportedly using the Nemesis system from Shadow of Mordor. If you don't know the Nemesis system, then it is this fantastic bit of tech, let's say, coding. Basically, if you'll kill an enemy or an enemy's friend, then they will see you on the map and they will be like, "Hey, you killed my friend," and then do this whole thing, and then you'd get into a whole fight. It was really good because it was immersive and people were hoping that more games would use this system, but Warner Brothers patented it. So unfortunately, other games could not use that system. I actually really hate patents and I was thinking about making a video about it because I feel like patenting game mechanics is quite a bad way to go because it's just kind of killing all creativity that could have came from it and adapted from it. Now, back to the Black Panther thing. So we actually got this news from Bloomberg via Jason Schreier, and the news was Cliffhanger Games was working on a single-player Black Panther game that utilized a version of the Nemesis system seen in Shadow of Mordor. It's all well and good to put this in the news, but guess what? This was a surprise to the people working at Cliffhanger Games. They didn't know they were getting fired. They didn't know their game was getting cancelled, and I hate that part of things. Let me tell you about my experience. So I used to work in the video game industry for about a year, and this was quite commonplace back then. That was back in 2019. So usually the CEOs and that don't usually let people know who's getting fired until like the day of or the day before, which isn't great. And when we used to have lunches in the gaming industry, we used to like have little conversations about this, not with the CEOs, with like other people we used to work with. And the general consensus used to be that even the CEOs don't know until the day before, because what other reason would they have to do it? I guess stock markets too, not to like, because obviously if they know like a game's not getting made anymore, that extra money's not coming in and that money's wasted, then it would tank the stock market too. But I'm thinking this is like a lot of talking heads at the top and then it just kind of gets made up at that moment sometimes. They're just like, yeah, we'll cancel that Black Panther game, so what? I think this Black Panther game would have sold a shit ton. So I have no idea why they decided to cancel this. That's what the video game industry's like sometimes. I got fired too, so maybe I've got too much beef in this. Not from the Black Panther game, but the game that I was working on. I don't know whether I'm allowed to talk about it still. What was the idea for this Black Panther game? It was the Black Panther versus the Skrulls, and the Skrulls are basically shape-shifting aliens so they can take on the form of anything. That would have been interesting to see in the video game world, especially with the Nemesis system. So I think this game had the potential to be something very big, something very unique, and I think even with the Marvel name on it, it would have sold well. And also lots of people love Black Panther, especially after Chadwick Boseman passed away, RIP. Yeah, this game would have done really well, and I feel like it was an interesting idea to do, but it's not to be. The next bit of news is there's a Severance video game coming. If you've never seen Severance, do yourself a favor. It's a psychological sci-fi thriller directed by Ben Stiller and starring Adam Scott from Parks and Rec and Step Brothers fame. The concept: while you're at work, you don't remember your personal life, and when you're at home, you don't remember your job. It's basically like a switch goes off. As soon as you go into work, you're like, doom, and you're this different person, you're this different personality. As you see in the show, there is more to that and what the people on the Severance floor go through. So yeah, if you've not seen it, you need to see it, especially if you love like stuff like Black Mirror. Let's get into the news. So, well, this week, Ben Stiller confirmed that he's actively looking to expand the Severance universe, and one of those formats on the table is a video game. He was quoted as saying, "We've talked about ways to expand the Severance universe, including graphic novels, games, even interactive experiences. It's still early, but we're excited." Ben Stiller from Variety magazine. Now, this could be special. I'm picturing something immersive, slow burning, definitely something in VR. I feel like it would work best in VR, but we've seen other games like this that would work well in a first-person mode, like for instance the Stanley Parable. I feel like Stanley Parable and Severance have lots of things in common. Now, if they could put you inside Lumen Industries, force you to make moral choices, or unravel your own identity as you play, this has the potential to be a psychological game thriller, and I'm all for it. Another interesting thing that Ben Stiller said is that they were looking to expand by making interactive experiences, which would be pretty fun. If it was like escape zone type situations, but like in the Severance universe, I'd be all for that too. I really feel like this TV series could make a really good game. My next story of this week is about The Last of Us Season 2 ending and my thoughts on it. So I really think both of the games are masterpieces, let me just say that. Part 1 video game, or just The Last of Us 1, is definitely 100 out of 100. Perfect game. You know what I mean? The characters, the story, the gameplay, all of the stuff they've done with that. Naughty Dog really knocked it out of the park with the first game. But obviously they had a lot of experience from making the Uncharted games too. I would say if part 1 is 100 out of 100, then I would say part 2 is at least a 90 out of 100. It's bold, it's emotional, it's divisive, and that's what good art is at the end of the day. But when it comes to the show, Season 2 pretty much follows the structure of the game, which is unfortunate. In Season 2, we got Ellie's story, and then in Season 3, we're gonna get Abby's story, which I really don't think works in the TV show format. In the game, after the moment in the theater when Abby breaks in and shoots her friends, you're immediately thrown into Abby's perspective. It's jarring and it's uncomfortable, but that's the point, yeah? You have to sit with it and understand her story and where she's came from too. In the show, we're expected to walk away, and then a year later, we're meant to come back and care about Abby's character. I really feel like it doesn't work in the TV show format, and I really think they should have changed it. I think that it should have been in chronological order. We should have seen Ellie's story alongside Abby's story going along. Unfortunately, in this way, we've got no reason to come back. If you didn't know the games and you were just watching the TV series, I could see people being really disappointed with that. Also, let's be real, no hate on the actress, but I feel like what they did with Ellie's character is not great. It's a watered down version of her from the video game. In the game, she's brutal, she's vengeful, and she's just a force to be reckoned with. In the show, it feels like they're trying to soften her into a misunderstood anti-hero, and that's just not the character that you need in a vengeance story, unfortunately. It just doesn't hit as hard in a TV show. And I feel like in times, that actress could have done it, but they chickened out of it. They also moved the Joel flashback scene. Ellie and Joel have this really touching moment before Joel dies, and it brings it all together, and it's right at the end of the game, and it's like, oh, they did have their moment of reconciliation. In the TV show, they kind of ruined it and they kind of showed it 4 or 5 episodes in. It just doesn't hit the same. So no hate to the actors or the crew on the show. I just think HBO had a huge chance to adapt this differently and instead they played it too safe. But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. Now here's a reason a lot of you probably clicked on this video, and that is Xbox's future in handheld gaming. I've been using the PS Portal and I've got to admit, I thought it would be a gimmick. When I bought it, I was like, oh, it's cheap enough and I'll probably get my money's worth eventually, but I use it almost daily. It's clean, responsive, and it just works. As long as you've got good internet connection, that is. Microsoft has partnered with Asus to introduce 2 new handheld gaming consoles. So number 1 is the ROG Xbox Ally. The target audience, they say, is for casual to avid gamers seeking a value-oriented service. So obviously this one sounds like it's going to be the cheaper one, but it's still going to be able to do high-performance games, and it runs on Windows 11 Home and offers native Xbox game access. That means you can download the games to the console and play it, not like Sony's PlayStation Portal. You can do cloud gaming also and remote play. It's got integrated Xbox Game Bar and ASUS Armory Crate for device management, and it's got a 7-inch 1080p display with a 120Hz refresh rate and FreeSync Premium. It's got contoured grips inspired by Xbox controllers for ergonomic play, and it's got storage options up to 512GB on a solid-state drive. And the battery capacity is up to 60 watts. And the second one is the ROG Xbox Ally X, and this is for enthusiasts and gamers desiring top-tier performance. This one's going to be the premium one, and you can see that because it's powered by AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor. It's equipped with a 24GB RAM. You've got storage capacity up to 2TB on a solid-state drive. That's great for a portable device. An advanced zero-gravity thermal system with dual fans, because that thing's going to get hot. You've got a USB 4 and a Thunderbolt 4 support, so you can connect many devices. And the battery capacity is actually up to 80 watts for extended gaming sessions, but that obviously depends on the kinds of games you're playing. If you're going to be playing more taxing games on the system, then the battery's just going to die quicker anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So what I've heard from people who have had their hands on this system already is that it can actually log into the PlayStation app system, so you can do remote play through PlayStation. So this can actually be used like a PS Portal, and also you can log into Steam and play your Steam games through it. So is this the first ever like universal console? No, because you can't play Switch games on it, but for all of the other systems, yeah, we've finally brought PC and console together. Well, it's getting that way, and I feel like it's gonna keep going in that direction, but this is pretty cool. If PlayStation released something like this and you can play all of the games natively, I'm buying this day one. I just love that we're coming back to handheld devices now, because the PS Vita was highly underappreciated. So now let's talk about Mindseye, and Mindseye is a mess. Mindseye is buggy and broken. I actually watched Moist Critical play this the other night, and he had to buy the game on console because it crashed right after the first cutscene of the game 3 times. So this is my warning to you, please don't buy this just yet. I'm saying yet, but I don't think this is a Cyberpunk or a No Man's Sky situation. I think this is going to be somewhat broken forever, as many people actually left the company just before the launch. I don't think the players are ever going to get a full realized version of this game, and also PlayStation already offering refunds, so you know you've messed up when that's happening. They did the same for Cyberpunk too, didn't they? But I don't see them investing the time and the money into it to actually fix this game. So my advice is just hold on to your money, because there's lots of great games coming out in the next few months. So I also found this bit of news on theouterhaven.net, and that is from Keith Mitchell, and he claims that my Nintendo Switch 2 dock died in less than a week. Why I decided to check into this is because I was like, that's kind of strange that it would die. Maybe it was just a malfunction or something, but then when you read the story, some pretty interesting tidbits. So he said, I ended up driving down to the closest GameStop about 25 miles away, and I explained to the store manager the issue, that his dock is broken already. He had heard about this, and this caused him to cancel his pre-order. The store manager at GameStop canceled his pre-order. The GameStop manager apparently said that the dead dock issues are being reported more and more, much to his dismay, and I'm not the first one to complain about this. You should keep an eye on that. So it looks like this could be a big problem for the Switch. they might actually have to start fixing them, which is kind of crazy because the new dock is actually pretty expensive. So yeah, if you've got a Switch 2, I would be careful with that dock. Maybe place it in there really slowly, really carefully until they fix this issue. There's obviously something wrong there with the wiring or something. If this GameStop manager's already heard many people complaining about this problem in one store already, it's probably widespread. Let's just keep an eye on this and let's hope it's not going to turn into the Xbox Red Ring of Death. Let's say that was bricking your whole console. At least the console still works. You can still charge it in other ways. But anyway, yeah, just be really careful with your Nintendo Switch right now because those docks are expensive. So I want to talk about some fantastic games that have been announced lately. Here are a few of my top picks. First, Marvel Tokon. So a new Marvel game set in feudal Japan. I love DBZ Fighter Z, and having that same team work on a Marvel fighter will be interesting. Also, how does Capcom feel about this? Because I know they've been making Marvel vs. Capcom for years. Is this cool with them? I don't know. I'm guessing so because it's a big company making it. Anyway, we're getting Gears of War on the PlayStation. What? So I've never thought I would see Gears of War on a PlayStation system, and I'm excited to see the trophies for this game because Gears games have notoriously time-consuming online achievements. Also, we have Gears and Forza now on the PlayStation. Will Halo be next? Maybe. Call of Duty Black Ops 7, set decades after its predecessor. This installment introduces a co-op campaign mode and a darker storyline. I don't know why I'm excited about this one. I think when I see Black Ops, I get excited. It's that nostalgia as a kid. Resident Evil Requiem, so a new entry in the iconic survival horror series, set for release on February 27. So that one's actually quite interesting. Early in 2026, which is against the trend usually. Games in the past always wanted to launch later in the year, but it's before the fiscal year. They're hoping to get the money in then. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, this looks really interesting. The new entry in the Sonic Racing series, introducing cross-dimensional tracks and characters, releasing on September 25th. And you can be Minecraft. This actually looks pretty fun and releasing pretty soon, next 3 months. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, it's set for release on July 11th, so next month. I think this game will actually be good. I think they've been advertising it a lot. They didn't do that in past entries, so I'm thinking they know they have a good product on their hands this time around. So I think they're gonna knock this one out of the park. Let's see. 007 First Light. It's the return of James Bond to the gaming world, and it's developed by IO Interactive. They obviously have a great track record, and I'm excited for this game. Looks pretty awesome. Everyone was memeing it, saying it looks like, what was it, Nathan Bond, mixing Nathan Drake and James Bond together, but no, I think this one's gonna be awesome. Looks like a class game, and if you've listened to some of my other videos, I've talked about the 007 Quantum of Solace game on the PS3. I really enjoyed that one, and I felt like that was trash, but maybe my standards were way lower years ago. Let's see. Dying Light the Beast, a new entry in the Dying Light series. This one looked interesting because it looks like they've returned to the look of the first game, which what people preferred the most. Dying Light 2 wasn't exactly a bad game at all, but I think everyone just liked the visuals and the art direction of the first game, and it looks like we're getting that again. Next one is like the grossest looking game I've ever seen in my life, and that is Ill. This game looks really silly at the same time as scary and fun. Plus the graphics look insane. This feels like a day one pickup for me. I like that added touch of kicking a little zombie, whatever baby at the end, homunculus. It would look funny. This game looks great. I'm excited for this one. The next game that was interesting was Felt That. I'm interested to know how deep this game is. It looks a little gimmicky and surface level as of now, but it could be a banger. I don't know. I love the art of it. It's so strange looking, isn't it? Might check the reviews on this one first before I pick it up. Next one, Mouse PI for Hire. I think this is another day one buy from me. From developer Fumi, it looks very interesting. It's a gritty noir field first-person shooter that looks like a 1930s cartoon. It seems to poke fun at itself, and it looks beautiful. I'm looking forward to this one. Very much Cuphead vibes, but a first-person shooter. But yeah, let's see what the reviews say. I might be picking out all of the worst games, you never know. So anyway, thanks for watching my video today, and let me know in the comments, would you have played a sequel to the Order 1886? Would you play a Severance game? Are you gonna buy the new Xbox Portable? And do you have a Nintendo Switch, and are you being careful with that thing? But anyway, thank you for watching again today. I've been Calazaki, community, and I appreciate you being here for all my videos. If you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you do, because I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. I know lots of other people put time and effort into, but if you do subscribe and like or even comment, it will help me out in the algorithm, and I'd appreciate it a lot. So thank you for watching another one of my videos, and if you're new here, thank you too, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys.